This is a close reading of Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451. This is chapter 1, section 5. Explain Clarissa's opinion of Montag as a fireman. Quote, "You looked at the moon." So we now go from the images of Montag's wife, who has ear pods, overdoses, has all this stuff going on, him really thinking about his life, really thinking about whether he is in fact happy. He's not really sure whether he is. So he has another encounter with Clarisse. He says, "What are you up to?" She says, "I'm just crazy." She's out walking again. And they have this encounter using dandelions. Now, if you don't know what a dandelion looks like, I have a link in the margin over here. It's a bright yellow flower. You often find them on your lawn in front of your house, but I want you to see the symbolism here of the sun, of brightness, and these things are associated with Clarisse. She says that if you rub it off, if it rubs off under your chin, it means you're in love. So he rubs it under her chin. He says, "You're yellow under there." Again, we have this image of the yellow flower. You might remember from Gatsby. Gatsby was associated with yellow, that imagery of wealth, of value. But when she rubs it underneath Montag's chin, it doesn't come off. And she says, "You're not in love with anyone." And he says, "I am very much in love. I am." He claims that it's the dandelion, that it was all used up on her, and now he can't, get any on his chin. So this is clearly his feelings about his wife. That, again, she is this mirror. She has exposed him. And he has to confront this idea that he may not be in love with his wife, and this has him thinking. She recognizes it and thinks that this has made him angry. Okay? So she says that she goes to a psychiatrist, and they make her go because clearly she has all these issues. And the psychiatrist says that she is strange because she goes on these hikes around the forest and watches birds and collects butterflies. And she says they don't understand that she just sits around and thinks. She tilts her head back and lets the rain fall into her mouth. Says it tastes like wine. And says you've forgotten this feeling of leaning back, letting the rain fall into your mouth, and enjoying kind of just sitting and being. And he looks at her and says, "Man, you are sure wise for 17. My wife is 30, I'm 30, and yet you seem so much older." Okay? So she asks again, "How did you start your job?" And she says, "Because I don't think it's right. It just doesn't seem right for you. When I said something about the moon, you looked at the moon. The others would never do that." Okay, so this moon imagery, the light in the darkness, she is the light in the darkness. This idea that he's paying attention, he's thinking about it, and that now makes him different than those other firemen. And she's thinking, maybe you shouldn't be a fireman. And this is something that he's thinking about it. He says he felt his body divide itself into a hotness and a coldness, soft, hard, trembling, not trembling, grinding on each other. He is now quite literally torn between those two, that idea that he's warring with himself. And the final image of the section is very slowly as he walked, he tilted his head back in the rain for just a few moments and opened his mouth. So he's leaning back, he's drinking the wine of rain, of nature, and of life. and looking at the moon and feeling that power of illumination